Hello, welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Vertek and Chibi are back from their latest adventure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Golden Feather. Today is episode 134. And no, that was not DA at the beginning there, but you know, whatever.
We'll get them.
Repeat intro. So yeah, episode 134 on this fine, was it the 12th day of August now? Jeepers, flying by. 2022. We have the NVB Rio. There's a couple reasons to be envious, and we'll explain that later. But also, speaking of envious, we have DA, who is representing envious. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing wonderful. It's great to be here. Excited to talk about, ashes and everything like that. So, yeah, it's been quite a bit since I've just had the ability to kind of sit down on one of these podcasts and, just chat it up with people. So I am excited.
Yeah, it's always a fun time. We get the joy of doing it weekly. Yeah.
Right? And
speaking of doing it weekly.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, you were chatting about how you were wanting to get a webcam.
Yeah. With all the podcasts that I'm on, I think it's time that I just invest in a webcam so I can, I don't stick out among the group. But yeah, we'll see.
You never know. Sometimes it's best
Just
to
saying.
stick out, though.
You do a face reveal, it's got to be here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
Now it's even more
right.
special.
For sure.
Face reveal on
sure.
TGF.
Absolutely.
You will see it here first, folks. You heard it. It was a promise. That was actually an oath. I heard an oath in there.
Oh, man.
But speaking of doing this stuff weekly, the always and forever welcomed and returning co-host here, the Chibi Bree.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm all right. My face is extra red today for some reason. But yeah. I'm doing pretty good. I'm fixing typos that Ashes has so graciously announced out to everyone. Thank you for catching that. Please check your Discord. Thank you. But to the world, exactly. Thank you, Nair. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I appreciate it. Work has been so intense on both Vertek and I this week. Thank God my boss is coming back from his wedding, and I will not be alone by myself anymore. Because my word, I'm not ready to be my boss. I'm good. I'm happy with 9 months into my job not being the boss of my job. I'm happy with that. He can happily take his position back.
Take your work. I'm done with it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind being my own boss, Nair. The level of work when you're used to two people being the people doing the job versus just one person doing everything is quite different. I think I've taken many naps this last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Work over faceplant.
Yeah, pretty much. But
It's all right.
We're here, we're enjoying, and we have an envious community.
I was gonna say we have somebody else here who does the job of many people, many hats.
Oh man.
So those who do not know you, give us a little brief rundown. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? And why do you do it in the Ashes community?
Okay. Again, for those that don't know, I am DA. I am the leader of Envious Community. I lead basically a guild within Ashes of Creation, although we expand to other games whenever they come out. Any type of MMO RPG that offers, a mixture of PvE and PvP elements with some good crafting, we like to jump in those and just, have a good time. I guess the reason I started this is I wanted to have a non-toxic competitive environment where people of all walks of life can come in, and it doesn't matter what game you're playing, you always have somebody to play with in the same kind of mindset, and we have a good time. We go in to these games, we do a lot of stuff, we have a lot of community events, and personally it's just a passion of mine. So yeah. We've been going together for about 5, 6, going on 6 years now, playing a myriad of MMOs. And through that time, I've met some of my best friends. I've seen, people go through everything from baby scares to relationships, and, the ups and downs of all of that, the whole 9 yards, guild drama from other guilds. And me personally, I enjoy it. I know a lot of people don't like it just due to either the amount of time that you have to put in, or you have to talk to other people, the politicking, all of that. It can be stressful at times, but I think that the reward is worth the effort, personally. So, yeah.
So a place to do stuff with people, have a lot of fun, and avoid toxicity. What would you offer to the people who don't like fun and want others to be incredibly toxic to them?
Well, I'd offer, you take your look around, because there's plenty of other groups that offer that. Me personally, if you don't want to have fun, then I don't even know why you're playing video games in the first place, right? That's now, whether your fun be, being more competitive or just kind of taking it a little bit more casually, that's up to the individual. But if your goal is to have fun, then why are you even if it's to not have fun, then why are you even playing video games in the first place?
Right.
Sir Rosington says I'd offer counseling. Nice. All right, let me get this bot a kick in the pants real quick here.
No problem.
There we go.
But
Should be
you were
waking
saying?
up just fine.
It sounded like you were going to say something else, DA.
Oh, no, that's it. Sorry, I thought you wanted me to keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you just said but, so I thought you had more.
Oh, no.
So my question is, given the, I guess, intense, oh my gosh, an error. I swear. But sorry.
No, you're fine. Technical issues happen from time to time.
But
I know what you're talking about. We're perfect here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say after getting distracted by chat is that there's people that are not going to want to be as intense with the gameplay and are probably going to be very lax, I guess, in their gameplay. So would you be a welcoming place for those people as well? Somebody who's maybe only able to play maybe an hour or two in an evening at most?
So personally, I try not to dictate a time by how much playtime you have, just because, there are people who play 4 or 5 hours a day, and who can get things done just based on, they have better time management than other people. So it's really just about, for us, like how well you manage your time, how much, much time you're able to put in. If you're only be able to play an hour or two a day, then we might not be the best fit for you, right? We try to put in at least 4 or 5 hours a day at the least. I know some of my guys are really sweating. They'll play 14, 18 hours a day. But we are understanding that people have lives, they have a job, we all have responsibilities that we have to take care. And, some people just aren't fortunate enough to have that extra time, and that's okay. again, it's really just how you manage that time, your manager time when you do have that available time, right? Like, do you get on for 4 hours a day and just complain all day that there's nothing to do, or you're hitting your crafts and you're making sure you're showing up to the next raid boss or whatever it is for the couple hours that you can be there, and then you head to bed and you're grinding on the weekends when you're off of work. It's just time management is key for us.
Right, that makes sense. Because especially if you think about it, let's even just use me for an example. When I first got into Ashes, I was in college. I wasn't graduated yet, but I had just finished one of my finals, and now I have a full-time job and other things that are on my plate, things that I'm out doing. So like, just in the time from the Kickstarter to now, my life has changed that much.
Right.
So I think it's important that there is a welcoming community like that, because back when I was in college, once I got my homework done, I was on MMOs for the rest of the night, like all weekend.
Right.
But now I realize like I can't really do that as much anymore, because I mean there's a lot more that I'm taking care of now, So yeah, I also wanted to put that out there just in case anybody was looking for a guild and see, like, get a gentle feel. I mean, if anything, guys, !guest for at least this podcast will bring up DA's or Envious's Discord and Twitter. So feel free to check those out if you're interested in looking for a guild. And we'll obviously have this in the YouTube stuff later. But yeah.
And pop quiz for you, DA.
Okay,
so
awesome.
There's not really any right or wrong answer to this. It's just different guilds have different approaches and different ideals and such. But I noticed that you're a small guild. I've only seen like one or two. No, I'm lying. I've seen like thousands and millions of people with envious tags. But with so many people and I'm sure there has to be a pretty wide spectrum of skill levels in there. Do you have a targeted approach for dungeon and raid groups, like say a progression group and a bunch of others that are kind of like fill-ins but kind of progress on their own, just maybe not quite as hard? Or is it just everybody just joins in whatever group and we'll just all do whatever we're going to do and have fun?
So we have a wonderful officer of mine named Hoken, and he does a lot of our back end stuff. This man self-teaches himself, he's self-taught on like coding, and he does a lot of work just teaching himself how to code different things for our tools. And one of the things that we used in Lost Ark, and we're going to be using up in upcoming Ashes, is our group finder tool, which incorporates our bots that allows you to build these parties. And through these parties that you can build, we allow people to build essentially. So for raiding, for example, take that for example, raiding, we'll have multiple raid groups based on the number of people that are in the guild who want to raid. So if we need to spin up another raid group, that's entirely possible for us. We do have some of our progression groups. Those are based on skill. Dev is usually the one who kind of sets that up as far as like who's in each group. That's based on like mod reviews of maybe doing lower tier raids and things like that. So that the progression raid groups are a merit based raid group based on VOD reviews and just your personal skill, and then from there we have subgroups under that as far as like fill-ins or just other non-progressive raid groups.
Cool.
Like
it's a race, we try to gamify things. We love the competitive race. Some weeks you're like, oh, raid group 2 beat it, this raid faster than raid group 1, and then the next week raid group is like, oh, we got a faster time. So we just like to drive that the competitiveness, but without keeping it toxic.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's kind of like incentivizing,
Yeah.
Right. So one other one, as far as like the rating and such like that, and just a general contribution versus reward for contributing and participating. DKP, EPGP, custom, none of that? Just presence on the time?
So one of the things that we're looking at is just a raid a loot council. it really, there are a lot of things that Ashes Creation provides as far as like the intermingling of PvP and PvE. And until we kind of get into a Alpha 2 setting, until we get in a persistent alpha, I don't really want to say kind of exactly how we're going to do that, because different games offer different things, and there's just the different ways about going about the gear. For example, we don't know if raid bosses are going to drop a plethora of materials and whatnot. Are we going to have to move those materials back to the node, or are they just bound to your character? What's the crafting process looks like? Are we going to, after a night of raiding, do we get 2 breastplates, or do we get 50, or do we have enough material that we're able to deck out everybody that needs that gear set? So it really just kind of depends on what the game offers us.
Fair enough. Solid answer. Thought about that one. I like it.
Yeah, that one's been on my mind for a little bit. So
yeah, I think you're right though. With such a new combination of everything and how it's going to work together, and everything's going to depend on all the other stuff, it's going to be kind of interesting to come up with a proper solution to really truly examine how much is being contributed towards any specific goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead.
I just noticed in this little video, there's a little dragon skull thing there that looks very much like the little Hydra heads you have there.
Oh, yeah. In the desert biome video.
Yeah. Little Hydra head popping up on the side, but I think it's a dragon in there. Close enough though. Anyway, continue.
Don't tell anyone. It's a PI leak. Hydra boss. It's the Hydra boss. So that's the raid boss in there. Shh.
I won't tell
Golden
anybody.
Feather exclusive.
I guess. I'll go ahead and let a leak slip. There's going to be an Alpha 2 for this game. Just don't tell anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
It's top secret. Going to be a second phase soon.
TM.
TM. The TM is always silent. It's always there. It's always there.
Yeah. Fair.
Oi. So, oh, I've asked a bunch of questions. It's your turn.
Well, actually, Sir Unsington had a thing to comment on, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay, so Sir Unsington says, I'm extremely competitive as well, and I enjoy cultivating the maximum amount of effectiveness out of my character. In other games, DPS meters have made this easy. Does Envious have any strategies or experience they will implement in Ashes to help maximize the effectiveness of their members? Perhaps a tank that uses a single taunt on an elite mob and members set personal records on time to kill?
It's funny that you bring this up. We were laughing about some just kind of how Intrepid is going to do some of these class combinations. What does a bard tank look like, right? What does a summoner bard look like? And we're definitely going to specialize based on class needs. I'm hoping the combat will offer that type of need for giving mages a bubble that people have to stand under, or that interesting gameplay. Again, really, we just don't know how much what the game is going to offer. I know DPS meters is something that is brought up been in the past. It's usually kind of one of those don't ask, don't tell things, where it's just like, we use it, but we don't talk about it. VOD review is one of the biggest boons to our success that we do. Everybody, if you're in a war, if you're in the raid, record your footage. We'll sit down and take the time with you to show you how to set up either OBS, or if you've got a NVIDIA graphics card, we can show you how to do the recording of that. We've got plenty of people who will sit down and show you how to set these things up real quick. But the biggest thing is going to be that VOD review, because that says a lot more than just like, I promise I was in this place at the time. I wasn't off chasing down some DPS at Timbuktu, whatever it may be. On top of that, obviously if there's a way to kind of one of the things that Ashes has spoken about, I know as Steven himself, is giving players the ability to kind of see their own metrics and use that for their own personal growth, but they also don't want it to be in a more toxic sense. So it's hard to, tell how much information is going to be available to the player. And from that, we'll kind of develop that strategy going forward as far as how we want to set forth those metrics for, our war core, our raid team,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
I think that's a good way of handling it, honestly, especially considering Steven's stance on everything with it. And, it's going to make things somewhat difficult, but there's, creative ways around it.
Right,
I still stand by my first thought as soon as Steven basically said no DPS meters at all, which was either personal meters, you can get a scarecrow on your own property and it only tells you what you're doing, but it can also attack you, so you can test your healing and tanking and all. Or have there be a DPS meter that you can turn on like in a guild hall if you put points into it as a guild. That's been like day one. Like, all right, if you don't want it public, how about just private? Like a guild can do it to their own guild mates.
I like that.
Yeah. If you join the guild, you can spend points on it, and within your own guild at the guild hall, you can test your DPS and all, and increase as a team, train each other, train guild mates without going out in the field.
I think another one of the other things that's going to be an asset is we've already seen in an early state that they plan to have the dueling function expanded from just a 5v5 perspective. So being able to get in a raid group and have a raid v raid duel against your other members, and kind of being able to sit with them one-on-one and evaluate everybody's gameplay on that kind of more micro level, I think is also going to be a huge boon to just a lot of the practicing and things like that.
That'd be crazy fun, actually.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a blast.
I'm excited.
And welcome, by the way, Diggs and Fupo. How's it going? I saw your name sneak in there with a comment or two. And by the way, Lizu, thanks for going and bullying Tech Deck. It's appreciated. We're a big fan of bullying Tech Deck. I mean, saying hi to Tech Deck is what I meant to say. He's a friend. He's a friend.
Yeah. Sir Huntington says that the large-scale duel is going to be huge for training large guilds and alliances as well.
Yep. That's one of the things that I'm excited for. I'm excited for everything. The naval combat, being able to just spend hours on it on sea, all of that.
Yeah. Fupo says, loved watching NVS duel and team fights in Alpha 1.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We did some group, I think we tried to do some group duels, but there was a couple of flying ships that got launched in the air that, distracted us from a couple of those fights. I still have footage of that, man. I love going back and watching the old Alpha 1 footage.
It's okay, Luzu. We know we're worth it. It's okay.
Diggs, you got to run away. Called away to work. Thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. So there's a lot to chat about just from things in general. But I think that was past tense, love.
Okay. Gotcha.
What do you think? Because somebody, u/Kalevsky, had requested this in the Reddit forums, which Steven responded, but they were wanting another Steven AMA, and Steven said, funny you mentioned this is 3 days ago. I asked my community team to prep another AMA sometime in the next couple of months.
Ooh. The next couple of months.
Yeah.
So I think an AMA is great. I always love hearing from Steven, what the team, just hearing different questions that come up from the community. You always get, some nice little spoilers here and there. Me personally, and I know everybody doesn't agree with this, but I get more energy and hype just seeing the things that the team is doing from the monthly live streams. Because personally, just where we are at in this stage of development, I really want to see more systems come online. I really want to see how these nodes work. I know we've gotten combat stuff the past couple months and the weather stuff, and I really want to see more of that. I know the AMAs are really cool, but just me personally, like I just really want to see more meat and potatoes from the project. And we're getting there. I know they teased the Ranger preview or some range combat stuff earlier, so hopefully we get a good stream this month with some range combat. But yeah, I'm really just kind of like, how do the classes work in tandem with each other? What does the mage look like? What is we've seen a highly mobile melee in the melee preview. What does that look like when fighting a ranged character? And these are really some of the things that I want to start seeing out of Ashes versus kind of just like, like, will I be able to take a caravan from one node to the other one and then stop by another small town on the way? Like, that's just kind of where I stand personally.
That's fair. And for those of you that didn't see it, and I don't know if you ended up grabbing the video pieces of it, Love, but from Ashes, they had a kind of like a choose your own adventure that they posted just 2 days ago. And everybody ended up choosing to gank the player. It was innocently chopping wood, so very innocently. But in the attack, they showed off the bow and arrow, hopefully working much better now than it was pre-Alpha 1 and Alpha 1. So
yeah, I ended up on the forums. I was like, well, you see, what I would do is sneak up on the person as close as I could, and it drops up the real scary right next to them, just to keep them on their toes. But then I would be misunderstood, and the guy with the bow would have shot me dead anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about this community, I'm sorry if my washer is
I don't hear it.
Chiming in. Okay, perfect, because they can't hear it. Yeah, one of the things I really just like about the community is just like everybody is so like PvX oriented, and even the people who I see who are not the kind of most devout PvPers are still like, I want to kind of dabble into this, and you see it from just like the response of like everybody ganking, like, let's just gank the guy. Like, I love to see that, because you look at a game like Lost Ark, and they put out the polls whenever they put out the arenas, and they have such a great arenas, like they're so much fun, but like 90% of the community is like, yeah, we're not even interested in that. Like, give us more reindeer and panda costumes to put on, and it's just like, like, oh man, that's what I want. Like, I like that community. It's like, yeah, let's like gank him with the ranger, let's take his sticks and move it back to the node. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Just take his sticks. Well, yeah, honestly, like, it was a fun little thing. I liked it. Some people got a little upset about it though. They're like, good job trying to tell people it's not going to be a gank box, and then you do this. But did you even see the choice that happened after everyone said gank him? Did you even see the results of their poor decision making? What were the final numbers? Oh, let me take a look here.
It was 51.3 to 48.7 with 1,333 votes. Sorry, I have it open.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a gank box. I think that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to entice people to play with a group. Playing with a group is going to be a big thing that I think that's going to be the hardest thing for players to get used to, is just like, this isn't a game where you can kind of go in, be that solo player and never have to converse with or interact with people at all. Like, you're going to have to interact with people on a daily basis. You're going to have to talk with them. You're going to have to chat, and like, over the years. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, over the years, we've played MMOs that kind of have just like, steered against that.
But
yeah, I was just gonna say that in a vacuum vote like that, where there's no outside impression or like a reputation to maintain, or just having the balls to jump up and actually gank someone from behind, a lot of people are gonna pick the more exciting option.
Yeah.
But when you get in a situation like that, there's going to be a lot of people that go, I want to, but no.
Yeah.
You could turn around and stab me in the face, or have a friend jump out from behind a rock and I'm dead.
Or in this case, an unsuspecting person just chopping away, and then you shouldn't have snuck up on him.
I'm gonna
you never know who has friends around the corner,
Right.
somebody who's ganking them, and then everybody else in the guild is like, hey, where are they at? Like, do they have any friends?
Right.
You know what? If I make a dedicated gathering character, I'm gonna name it Bait.
Yeah,
That's gonna be his name. His name's gonna be Bait.
I love it.
And he's gonna run around in nothing but underwear with a lumber axe chopping trees down.
Right.
That's
right. Sus, you're sus. So, I think depends on the tree you're hitting. The rarer, the higher chance I'm gonna chop them back.
Yeah,
That's fair.
fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, also they were responding to someone who were saying, if it's full loot, he's dead. And Ashes responded with saying, players do not drop full loot upon death. You can read more about like the player death and loot and community run wiki and things like that. And I just thought that was kind of cool. Like, I like how they're able to respond to people, but also like back it up with like things that Lex and everybody else has worked so hard to keep up with. So yeah. Oh god. Very fair, very fair. But we always know when there's a large influx of people shortly after a Lazy Peon video, though.
Yeah, Lazy Peon does a really good job with those.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a guilty pleasure with Narc because, sometimes you're just sitting there, you're bored, and you're like, you know what? I'm trying to huff some copium too. Throw on a Narc video. And the guy's just in his underpants, whiling away.
Right. You're gonna gank Legs while he's busy updating the wiki. Oh man. I don't know. I don't think I can let that happen.
It's the best is when you're typing on Discord or you're doing something online and it looks like you're AFK because you're just standing there and that guy runs up and you're like, is he gonna try to attack me? And then he strays left and right to see if you're gonna react, and then you don't react and he thinks you're AFK. You're like, all right, I'm gonna touch this keyboard. The moment you get close to me.
Right. I like it.
Next.
Welcome in, by the way, Latanu. For those of you who haven't seen it, here is the Lazy Peon's newest video. And I don't know. I'm super excited about that character creator. I'm excited to see more for it. So.
Oh, same. There's going to be so many live streams and so many YouTube videos about just the character creator.
Oh,
when
absolutely.
they release it for people to just play with. It's going to be possibly the most reviewed and over-reviewed and recorded character creator known to man.
Yeah.
To date, anyway. Just because the game's not released yet.
Yeah.
Like I know Black Desert Online had a lot of people showing their characters getting created there, but the game was actually launched, so people spend more time in the game. If that's all you have for Ashes as a character creator, people are going to spend days on it.
Oh yeah, perfecting characters, coming up with good looking models and whatnot. I'm excited. I was really impressed with how the Tolnar came out. I thought they were going to come out very kind of like, I don't want to say scaly, just I don't know. I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, and for a first round kind of concept of them and where the sliders lie on those, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks skeleton like very bare at the moment as far as making it look pretty, but just with what they have on the first, I guess this is good enough to show people. It's gonna go places. It's got plenty of time for growth still.
Yeah.
And Captain Redbeard says there goes the neighborhood. DA in the house.
What's up, Redbeard? Love your content, man.
Trying to burn down the tavern.
there are some nights where I'm just like, I can't sleep. It's 2:00 in the morning, and I go through like everyone's content. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. I just watch everybody's stuff. Now, varying degrees on whether, how much I enjoy it, but I'm at least there supporting you. So if you're a content creator out there and you're putting out some sort of content, just guarantee that me and the boys at Envious have watched it at some point in time in a voice chat, talking about AOC and coping for the next spot test.
Right.
Gotta spread the good word. The good word.
Speaking of spreading the good word, actually, I found a new person doing podcasts. I haven't heard of them, at least, so they're new to me. But Zone of Influence, they released their 3rd episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know I saw them pop up about a month ago or so, but I haven't had a chance to swing in and really take a look.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in checking out them, I found them on Reddit. So, they did a crafting artisan system for their episode 3 conversation. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking them out myself and seeing what kind of content they make. Catchy name, absolutely. DOI.
Yeah.
Sounds very Ashes specific. Absolutely. Hey, yo, Cash Kush, welcome in. But what are your favorite Zerking the content creators? What are your favorite types of content creators to watch, personally?
I didn't realize my mic was muted. I apologize.
It's all good.
I was like, I check over every so often just to make sure it's lighting up anytime I walk away. But it's really hard to say just kind of what I'm in the mood for. I will say, guilty pleasure of mine, I love seeing content where like they're showing off the big battles from Alpha Line, and it's just me and a whole bunch of the boys from Envious is kind of like raining on screen and the spells are going off, and I'm just like, yeah, I remember that battle. I was there for that. But it really just, I like some of the theory crafting. I like some of the I think I like a lot of the reviews and just seeing how people kind of form their videos and their opinions based on the things that happened, with the content that Intrepid put out, either be it kind of ideas that they bring to the table or, things that they point out like, hey, this might be a problem, things like that. I like that conversation a little bit more than just the theory craft, just because we've been here for, a lot of us have been around this block for 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know how long, we've been waiting on this game. So, the theory craft, it's just like everything's been theory crafted to death, Intrepid is moving into that stage of development where things are coming out of concept and becoming hard features on paper. And as we kind of transition into that stage of development, I just like seeing a little bit more of that conversation transition as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, and something that Vertec and I've always felt with their concept versus like hardened actual gameplay stuff is like the monthly cosmetics. Where you see like the concept of the monthly cosmetic and then the actual monthly cosmetic. And there's a few times where we're like, I don't know, I'm not really into it when the concept was there, but then when it actually came out, we're like, oh man, I'm so glad I missed it.
Yeah,
what's about that?
Yeah. But like they've done that with everything, with their characters, with their environments. Like I just saw, I think I have it here. They have a photo that they tweeted out, and it looks really pretty. Like I honestly almost want to make this my new background for my desktop, just because I like the forest and I like the earthy stuff, which is why Pyre resonate with me. But I'm excited to see that area within the game, because they've always done such great work from concept to in real life, if you will, or in game. Like it just blows my mind every time, honestly.
Yeah, I think the quality, they just, from a quality standpoint, they've been knocking it out of the park. The Riverlands look really good.
Absolutely.
The desert looks really good.
Quick, what did you think about the desert? Because remember, everybody was worried the desert was going to be very barren.
I loved it. I actually seen people complaining that there were too much foliage and trees and water and stuff, and I'm like, what? No, that's great. It transitions from like the savannah to this like desert sand biome, and during the office hours that we had, I think a lot of good points came up about expanding on that, like have those sand traps that pull you down, and it's you get pulled down into like this dungeon that are like a large expansive dungeon, and there's different entrances and exits to that, and maybe they'll shift with like how the weather is going within that zone. But a lot of people brought up a lot of interesting points outside of the normal sandworm tropes, but there's a lot of good points that get brought up in those the community office hours, and I just think that what they've shown and a lot of stuff that they have kind of planned, I think that we're going to see some more interesting deserts, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to see just a boring desert with a sand as far as I can see, and maybe a couple of objectives or some quests around there, right?
That's
How neat would it be if it was like a living desert, to the point where like the sand dunes would actually, like where they're rising up or slipping down, would actually move around a little bit.
Can you imagine a sand trap pulling you? Sorry.
Yeah.
You just sparked a mind.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you just sparked an idea. That's all I was saying.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if the sand dunes were to move around and even kind of follow the leveling of the metropolis nearby to uncover things, as the dune, like as it got higher, the dune would move farther away from the metropolis or what have you, and then it would move up closer as it leveled back down. Yeah,
I think with a lot of their new tech that they've been developing and some of the tools for Unreal that they've worked on, I think the sky's the limit as far as what they can do. It's just, one, does it work? And two, like, as long as it's not, adding the extra time to the development, and we can, I guess, we don't get into that scope creep. I'm happy for it. Like, bring on the innovation.
Yeah. And Diggs, that's where I was going.
An event.
It does sound like an event, but I was trying to say, can you imagine running across it and like you see like the moving sands? Do you think, oh, it's cool? Like it's a part of the environment, and then it like pulls you in. Yeah, essentially over there, like quicksand, it pulls you into like maybe an underground like dungeon. You find yourself just sunk through the ground and just plopped down. Right.
And then, there's a myriad of different dungeon bosses or things you can do down there. And I've liked that about other games. Like, hey guys, like the sand, this is a sand pit that we need to jump down to get to this boss room a little bit faster. So, everybody's gathering outside of that sand pit, and you all jump down, and then you have to navigate through the traps and the monsters and things like that. And I just think that all adds interesting type of gameplay, dynamic to the gameplay.
Yeah, I think so too. I love how interesting the dynamics they already have are in terms of just what they've shown so far. It just there's a lot that is already unique just within Ashes, not even including the things that they're working on.
Right.
But
I like it.
Yeah.
Just so many good ideas and approaches from them.
Absolutely.
Granted, there's been some bad ones. That's always been something I've been curious about. Like, for every successful feature that you add to anything, there's at least 5 others that you said no to. I wonder how many, or not necessarily how many, but just what kind of options for the game were just flat out said no, or maybe in a couple years or something.
Right.
Like, just maybe that'll be like a bonus for an expansion down the road, but for right now, just no. Just no.
Steven has never said that.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that Steven is even wants, and that his team has to just tell him the same thing. Like, no, Steven, we can't get this in time, man.
Yeah.
We love that you dream big, but maybe like you said, after the first expansion.
Can we make the guild castles fly? Let's not do that.
Maybe not.
They're attached to their own zones of influence. I don't know how that would work, but maybe if they just hovered over their land, compromise.
Right. Never know.
Reminds me, Overlord says that reminds me when someone asked if they could have pet remembrances, and Steven was like, "Oh, that'd be nice." Yeah, that won't be in there.
Or the time, Avarat, thank you.
Avarat
Welcome in.
strikes again. Thank you so much, friend.
Indeed.
You were so kind.
Or I was gonna say that the time where Stephen was trying to keep the little ducklings.
Oh, yeah.
The ducklings. Oh man. The circle of life in his backyard.
Right.
I think one feature that was said no to, I forget. Do you remember the story with the kids and becoming orphans? Was it Jeff that said no, or was it?
I just remember
I think it may have
Stephen
been
saying that there was going to be a dungeon of orphans.
Yeah,
all I remember.
We like at one point we had Steven on here, and I don't even remember how we got there, but we ended up talking about how I think we were talking about like the marriage system or something, and he got on a little bit of a tangent talking about how that we thought about maybe there could be kids too, but then how would you raise them, and what if the node gets destroyed, then you have a bunch of orphans running around.
Yeah,
like, what do you do with them?
Yeah, that's 5 expansions down the line. All right.
Yeah.
Too many far away, honestly. Stephen was all about the orphanage. Yes. Rip ducks, indeed. Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Ducks are not chicken. Okay, those are 2 different things.
It's true.
At the end of the day, they're just a clicked item on my item bar that I hit right before I go into battle.
Oh my gosh. Both taste good. Fair. I'm convinced the orphans will make an appearance at launch somewhere.
At least 1 or 2 floating around somewhere. There's got to be. Just not a node full of orphans. Or a dungeon, for that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been curious on what's been passed up.
Overthrow says, I think he's been pretty good about saying no. Someone asked about an item previewing on your character in game, like a wardrobe function. And he said that won't make it into launch, even though that's a pretty common thing now in like MMOs. Like being able to preview what the item looks like on.
Oh yeah, a lot of people. I was surprised. Did you read when that question was put out there, DA?
So like, I know Final Fantasy has it, but thinking back to their launch as well, like that wasn't something that they had. I think things like that are fine as long as they come sometime after launch. They're really trying to hammer out getting an actual tangible working game.
Quality of life updates, right?
Yeah, right. And just for where we're at in the stage of development, I think it's only natural that they say no to certain things like that. And one of the things that I think a lot of times we take for granted is like, a lot of these games that with these features that we consider, normal for these games, they didn't have for the first 2-3 years of their life. And, now we are in a point in time where it's like, these games that do come out, they don't, they take 7 to, sometimes 10 years before they even launch. So it's like,
right.
If Ashes is still in year 5, you just can't expect them to have the same amount of features, an 11 or a release 11 year or a release game, or product has.
75th year anniversary of WoW type of thing.
Right.
Which is like later this year, I think.
Right.
Can't believe that.
But yeah,
it's so long that WoW has been out, and there's a lot of people that are still very much into it and hopeful for it, and it's nice to see that out of a community. While granted, with Ashes, right, some of us have already given up on Ashes and have left. People have sold their accounts that they had where they had backed Ashes initially and things like that. And I feel like it doesn't matter which community it is, you're always going to have people that are interested at first and then end up losing faith in it, etc. But the diehard fans, I think that's just something sentimental about that, just believing in a game and giving it your all, kind of like a lot of us have done with the last 5 years. I can't believe it's already been 5 years.
Yeah, when you think about it, you're like, oh my god, the time has really gone by since then.
Yeah,
indeed. But speaking of random features and stuff, by the way, TL, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you for the cheer. Wanted to wait till we got to a little bit of a break, but something that is, I guess, could be associated with guild type stuff is somebody brought up a question, or more of a suggestion, I guess, on the forums talking about guild or group finders, but without instant teleportation. So like, I know Steven and them, he's talked about having somewhat of a group finder where you can post up on a message board in town, and then you have to keep checking at the board and watch chat and all. But I think this forum discussion was talking more along the lines of just you have a group finder, but it works locally to literally just put together your group for you.
I'm all for a system where it's like, hey, we put to, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Lost Ark, but in Lost Ark, you can, go up to a board, you can see what somebody's recruiting for, and they can apply for that party. The party can kind of take a look at like your specs, your level, and what, your item level, your clears or whatnot. And if they want, they can accept you into that party. I think something like that is perfectly fine in Ashes. It's just as long you just don't make it, like remove the fast travel aspect, remove the you instantly spawn at this dungeon. So like, if I'm across the world, sure, let me apply for a party finder that needs a party that's looking for a dungeon that might be on the other side of the world. But I need to also communicate with that party that, hey, I'm a boat ride and a half away, so it's going to take me 30-45 minutes to get there. I'm going to start making my way there now while you guys look for the last 2 or 3 members. And as long as you have that kind of open communication or a way for those people to communicate with that, I think it's fine.
That's fair. TF says you need to have something to help find groups because otherwise chat is just filled with LFG spam.
Yes, I
people
agree.
said can do many things depending on who is working on what when, so they have no real downtime on major future development. Good producers can juggle things that make a lot happen feature wise. Never going to get everything you want though for a big MMO launch, probably, right? But
Right.
I mean, these are interesting aspects of like finding a way to Tiggs, I like that. Finding a way to get a party together, and maybe not your typical way of doing it, but Dig saying I want NPCs in the tavern where the bulletin is start gossiping about forming a party. I love it.
That's fantastic. Boy. But yeah, I think I might be in that same camp of I might be okay with it. I know Overthrow is saying they want the LFG spam and private messaging because it's going to promote communication between people and working together and looking for help when you need help and that type of thing. And I can certainly see that approach, but I'm kind of torn myself. I'm kind of right in the middle of, LFG. Well, it clogs it unless there's an LFG channel that you can just not watch. Because if they're going to have it customizable, most games that have multiple chat channels, you can create a custom screen that just, it only displays what you want it to. Mm-hmm. Or just go to general only, or just go to group only, or guild only, and ignore everything else. And
kind
that's
of
where
like
that's where it becomes
Final
effective.
Fantasy, right?
Yeah, I think I like the idea of just like a separate menu that you're, excuse me, and a separate interface that you can bring up. Just because like it's so easy to miss stuff in the sea of chat, and nobody wants to have to sit there and spam the same thing over and over, and you have 100 other people spamming the same, different groups and their own agenda, and it just gets all cluttered.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. No, that's actually another approach. Ashes of Nera just said there that I think, it may not be exactly what Nera was trying to say, but what would you think about if there wasn't like an LFG chat channel, but there was an like a group finder tool that wasn't exactly automatic, but at least put your name up there so people could look at it from anywhere, and it had like a little chat window attached to it specifically through that one tool, and it's only up when you open that tool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Just having like a tool or a separate tool or interface that just opens that chat bar that's specifically just for that recruitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that I think would be pretty neat, because then you wouldn't even need to worry about, I forgot to turn off LFG and now I'm in the middle of combat and I can't, and it's just getting flooded with, look for 1 healer, 3 DPS, need 1 tank.
Yeah, it's more of the does that recruitment panel go away whenever you fill out that party, right? Once I set my post up for 20 members for a deep dungeon dive, and once all 20 members join the group, it takes down the posting.
Right. That'd be cool. I kind of like also how Final Fantasy's custom grouping thing works, where you can open up like a log and search for somebody who's doing a private party kind of thing, instead of going through the dungeon queue. And it shows you what's left, what's needed, like what's filled and what's needed. And I really enjoyed that. By the way, not Deku says, let's go DA. In my opinion, though, a good balance is great, because too much LFG menus will make the world less the focus and removes the immersion of a game like a sandbox. Which I like that. I like that idea. By the way, welcome in, Druid. Or it's a small thing. Yeah, Druid It. Welcome in. It's nice having your finger on the pulse of LFG, but I think there's a 51% better way with the Finder tool. Yeah, I think, even having like a Finder tool where it lists all the people that are looking for, and like you put in what you're looking for specifically, I think that'd be cool. Like, imagine like people doing like parties, or looking for a group of party members to work together so some of them can go out gathering,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to when it comes to that group content is the ability that, like, if we have some gatherers, you have to have some people to go defend them, and once they're done gathering, you have to load up those carts and move them back to the node, and move those carts you pack them into a caravan and move those back home. So that's one of the things that I'm interested in, especially from like a gathering standpoint side.
All right.
Sorry. Here we go. All right. So, yeah. The group finder thing. It's a hot button topic, just like the DPS meters. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh my gosh.
I know. We got to start wrapping up here somewhat soonish.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, what it could be?
Nera.
Oh, of course it would be Nera. Of course it would.
Somebody
And
said
of
in
course,
chat,
people would
ERP
use it for
groups.
that. Yeah, it could be used to find ERP groups too for sexy times in the taverns. Oh yeah, bring chicken. Nice. But here you go. Since we do have to start wrapping up here somewhat soon-ish, let's have a somewhat fun conversation here.
Okay.
So someone on the forums, have both of you recall the name King Atrax?
Yes.
I may have heard it around, but I don't know what from.
King
He
turned
is-
undead lich.
The Lich King in Ashes of Creation, who used he was tainted, or the ancients tricked him into
Atrax did nothing wrong.
to using their relics. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so someone had mentioned, or someone brought up a conversation on the forums saying NPC armies and territory expansion / creep. And the direction it started to go, like, really quick, which I kind of enjoy, is what if there was a world event where undead armies started attacking? Because I thought, how cool would it be if there was a metropolis that withstood a really long time of just existing and even like withstood a couple sieges without falling, and just over time to encourage people to rebuild and move other places to experience the other content that was developed for the game, and they're just not, because that metropolis is sitting still for so long. Atrax would just pop up and undead hordes would start crawling out of the ground and give progressively more resistance every single day for like a month. And if they can survive that, then so be it. But make it an extremely difficult thing to survive.
Yeah, I think they have spoken on the whole undead horde thing attacking the node. They haven't spoken on like tying that to the lore of the whole Atrax thing, but that's one of the things that I think is a good idea. I'm not sure how players would feel about. It really depends on like what feels good, right? Because like I think there does need to be like change that's driven within the world, but I think that they want to kind of leave that up to the player in, because like you also have to think about the other end of it is like, if you're in that node and everybody else is just kind of having a somewhat decent time up, defending their node against random dynamic events, but your node's a node that, the server just RNG chooses to, kick its shit in. That's not going to feel good when you're like, man, why are we fighting hordes every single week? And, the other node just got a random dragon attack and they might have got a cool sword out of it, right?
Right.
So yeah, I just figure something along the lines of like, if it's up for like a year and survives 3 sieges or something.
What if, with the corruption system, remember we were chatting last week about the corruption being in certain areas. What if corruption existed in an area for too long without it being eradicated? And, that's what caused the necromantic things to happen.
I mean, it really just, there's so many ways they could go about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think if they do a corruption type area, I think that would be really cool. I'd like to see something a little bit more akin to the New World whenever you did the portals and like how the sky turned red and like it got all, it's, it was hard to see, your field of vision wasn't that far because, that just the way the environment kind of changes around. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Something neat I'd like to see with the whole corruption thing.
Yeah, that's fair. They have to be very careful with the PvE content impacting something big like a node. It should have a good balance if they were to implement it. Yeah, we're just, I guess, enjoying what ifs.
Yeah, spitball.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I stumbled on it, I was thinking almost along the lines of it could end up being that make or break kind of event where it's designed to take down the metropolis but still have a very slim chance of succeeding. And if you do succeed, there could be some kind of like mythical item or substance or title or something that comes with it. Because the metropolis stood for so long. It withstood so many sieges. It withstood the test of time, just people losing interest and moving on.
Right.
That now Atrax has taken interest in, trying to take it down. And if he doesn't, then maybe it won't come again, but you're going to get a neat reward out of it if your node succeeds in defending against that.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of like a legendary event, so to say, like one of those that you have to work to achieving rather than just have your node exist at the same time as something else happens.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say basically an upkeep option that doesn't always just revolve around materials, right? Like the upkeep of your node is defending it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then really defending it, down the line.
Right. I was just gonna say there's some cool things that I saw today when I was looking through the content stuff from the community. And oh man, I don't think I added this in there, but let me at least share this. So I found this from u/lash _ashes.
u/lash?
u/ashes. And they were making a card game for Ashes of Creation. And I thought that was really, really cool. It's they have a lot of different photos and stuff there, and they wanted to show off the card game they've been working on and off for about a year and a half, and they think that it's finally in a good enough state to take a break from it until Alpha 2. And it's mainly a proof of concept, but it is super interesting. I really like it. It's not been balanced that much, but it is playable on Tabletop Simulator. So yeah, this is really cool. But
yeah, this is one that I bring up every time I bump into it. I didn't know there was a new post on it. Yeah, every time I bump into this, because I'm really excited to see where this goes. But
yeah,
I know. Yeah, it has been about a year and a half, hasn't it? Oof.
And they just updated that like 10 hours ago. So I happened to click into the newest on the Reddit forum, I guess, for it. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And they said that if they ever finish it, they'd like to use in-game screenshots for all the card art. So it's since it's not possible to get much more done, but perhaps they'll be able to with the AI art generator thing. Apparently, there's a second version of the AI art generator, and it's much better. So, never know.
Yeah, like Mid-Journey or something, I think it was.
Oh no, maybe, I don't know, but I know it's like the new one. I think you have to pay for it. It's the same AI, but it's 2. The one that I use for the Golden Feather.
Interesting. We actually have our own. It's not card game, but it's more of a memory game on our website that I play around with quite often.
Nice. And then what you see up on the screen is from Burgund Iron Guard, and they commissioned a piece of artwork, and they tagged the artist. I can grab that tag for you too while I'm here. But it's depicting their dwarf, Burgund Iron Guard, leading the defense of a Dunir node in Vera. And here's the artist. If you want to get your very own art, Polar Dwarf, I need it.
Polar
Absolutely.
Dwarf. Yeah.
Dune Guild are my favorite. I really hope they roll our server just so I can see a node with some dwarven architecture. I think I really like the I'm not a dwarf player myself, but I do enjoy their architecture very much and some of the concept that we've seen from like the underground stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, welcome in, Zixie.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. I'm not big on being a dwarf, but I really like the structures and everything.
Absolutely.
I might actually play Orc for the first time in this game just because
Really?
I'm liking the way they look, the little real beefy, and if I can make like a tall beefy boy, I might go Orc. But
Nice.
if not, I'll probably just play my Elf or a Tolnar.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
And then
Is it Narc?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I got
Narc in
the-
between monthly live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're all PI, so we have that $1,000 angel and demonic skin. I'm mostly likely just gonna live in that demonic skin, and I'll never be able to see any cosmetic regardless. So
There you go.
I was gonna say, as soon as we can see what it's like,
yeah,
it'd be nice if they let you use that as a character skin, and then you also can have clothing skins on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanu says it's nice that guild members are not race locked by factions, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah.
Maybe you'll accidentally end up with a primarily Dunir raced guild, and then your whole guild section is just Dunir oriented.
I think a lot of our guys are still liking that Tolnar.
That's fair. That's fair.
But and the whole like death to Tolnar thing, they really love that because it's like, man, if that race is gonna bring me the most PvP, like so be it. I'll roll it.
How envious of them.
Boom.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say I see a lot of people that are disliking the Vec, and you know what? I say that's okay. I'll be the token Vec in the guild and on the server. That's fine.
there you
I'll
go.
be token
There you
Vec.
go.
There we go.
Pocket Beck.
Make me more unique. I will stand out in the crowd.
Yeah. And then after this meme is just there's something that I've seen going around on Twitter, which is PixArt, where people have just been using it to create like OCs and D&D characters and stuff like that. And
That dark one is good.
oh my gosh. And this is their art of their Pyre and I guess twin sister. Stop it. My one major need for this game is the crafting to not become useless as we progress. Oh, it absolutely will not. Seen it a few times with all kinds of hype. 6 months down the line, nobody buys a thing I make. Yeah, well, Steven has already said the best gear will be crafted, so I think that alone shows that they're trying to make sure they make it a huge part of the game. So
One of the things that me and Yokai regularly get into discussion about is just that crafting system, because that's his pet peeve too. That the game's kind of put that to the wayside, and it just becomes an afterthought. And he's really big on crafting, so I think that's something that he will will definitely defend. In PI and to the developers to not don't let that fall by the wayside. Don't let crafting just become an afterthought, because we want a thriving economy. We don't want this to turn into a new world where everything's just expensive because there's so much gold on the server, or nothing's worth it. You have the opposite effect in like ESO, where like everybody buying gold is common because it's so cheap, $2, and you get a full set of gear.
right.
Yeah, and
Right.
see that's the thing, is it doesn't have to be that bad with like the gold buying thing. You just have to have a developer that really cares to like shut it down and actively go after it, and not try to find ways to make money.
Yeah, I like the middle image too on the bottom.
It's a good one like that. Yeah,
there's too many games that end up doing let's just jump on the same bandwagon and you can buy in-game gold from us directly.
Yeah, just buy it from us. Everybody's doing it. Not everybody's doing it legally, but everybody's doing it, so just buy from us. Yeah.
Right.
How to tank your economy, step 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Make real money off of your own in-game economy. Oh, yeah.
Lost
So-
Ark still seems to be working for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Ember tokens, woohoo! Vertec, I DM'd you a couple of things real quick. But in the last month, what would you say, DA, or even the last couple of months, if the last month is too narrow, what would you say is your favorite thing that Ashes has revealed recently?
I know the combat stream was big for everybody, and I really did like that myself.
Okay.
But to be honest, I thought the weather was I thought the weather was a little bit more of a
Pretty interesting.
I didn't really think they were going to take the weather system that far, and it was really it was one of the streams where I didn't leave the stream with more questions than answers. And through the combat stream, it was a good stream. It was really good showing, but I just had a lot of questions afterward that really wasn't covered in that. And maybe they just don't have it yet. Maybe they're still kind of trying to figure out some of these answer to some of these questions themselves, which is it's totally fine. But I think the weather system really just kind of knocked it out of the park and really showed the quality of like how in depth and they want their game to be, how much they want things like even just a weather system to not be an afterthought or not be something that it just like, oh, hey, it's raining today, or hey, it's winter today.
Yeah.
They want something a lot more from that.
Or this area is always raining and this area is always super sunny.
Yeah, I still have PTSD from Alpha 1 with it's always sunny and it's playing that same audio track over and over and over and over. And you're like, man, please just give me some doom gloom in nighttime. Like, I'm begging for it, please.
And that's the thing. Yeah, see, I'm glad you mentioned the weather thing, because that's one of them that took me kind of by surprise that they were going to do that. And then they came back like so soon after and actually showed some I mean, I guess not terribly soon after. It did take a little while, right? But it hasn't been as long as some other systems they've talked about and still haven't really shown much on.
Right.
But it was a fairly quick turnaround, and then just suddenly out of nowhere, hey, you guys want to see some like weather? Like today? Yeah. Of course.
And then just the level of quality and detail was like really good as well. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. By the way, I threw up a poll for who we should raid. We have Omef Gaddis and Beck Altair. Those are two people we haven't raided in a while. And so we would like your help to decide who to share the love to.
Looks like Beck is playing some Satisfactory, and OMF Gaddis is playing some Chimera Land Creator.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what the creator is, but I know Chimera Land I've seen around.
That's fair.
Never heard of that game.
Yeah, same. I live in Florida. I never get to see a change of seasons. I need ashes.
What are you talking about? You got hot rain, you got cold rain, or no, you got hot rain, you got lukewarm rain.
Cooler rain.
Yeah. You got sun, and you got
nighttime.
Less sun because night. Yeah, spicy rain.
Go to
the Miami club scene. Spicy rain is everywhere because people are just throwing liquor everywhere because they're crazy.
Spicy rain. Oh my gosh. Well, before we do our official wrap up, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support and the love that you always show us and share with us. We are 41 away from 1K, and we decided we would like to do a community night. And so far, the thing that's been suggested is possibly a Fall Guys thing, like a group of us just playing Fall Guys together. So once we hit 1K, we want to absolutely spend some more time with you guys and just literally have some fun. Thank you, Hamlets, for joining in as well. So yeah.
Miami Ham? My man.
We'll figure out more along the way as well, like play some other games with you folks, open some things up for people to jump in with us, probably hang out for a couple hours rather than just the 1 to 1.5 that we do for the podcast.
Absolutely. Rate that comes up at you. Rain. Yeah. Upside down rain. Yeah. All right. So it was Beck. I will get that going. Here we are.
All right. DA, did you have any closing comments? Anything you want to leave the people with? Any plugs, promos, what have you?
Thank you everybody for coming. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all my guys who stopped in and supported. I know a lot of you guys were watching in chat before that movie night started. Again, if anybody's looking for a guild for Ashes of Creation, we're going to be going heavy and hard in Alpha 2, and we welcome any of you that are interested in playing with us to join us. You can reach us at the discord.gg/envious, ENVEUS, or, our Twitters, our socials, our website, or just catch me in the Discord.
Yeah. Or apparently not if you're golden feathered.
All right. Did you have anything there, TB?
Nope. I'm very grateful you guys joined us. It was lovely hearing your thoughts and opinions, as always. Yes, TGF raid. TGFT raid. My bad.
Right. Well, thank you everybody for stopping in. Really appreciate your time and spending it here with us. It's something you don't get back, so you brought it here and you spent it at our tavern. So, thank you so much. We appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah.
And until next time, have a good day.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming by.